Let's get more on this now from Latin America analyst Colin Harding, who joins me live from Manchester in the United Kingdom. Colin, why have we seen such a dramatic change in the support for this new constitution? When it was first announced, it had overwhelming support, but now surveys consistently show more voters plan on voting against it.
Well, there was very high levels of emotion at the time following the 2019 social upheavals, which were extraordinary in a country which is usually rather gradualist and moderate and really quite a conservative society. But I think people have calmed down a bit now, and they're starting to have doubts about. As we've heard from that summary, the constitutional draft is extraordinarily ambitious. 388 clauses, one of the longest in the world, and its ambitions are extraordinary, but extremely vague. I mean, this is the problem. You can interpret it in all kinds of ways, and I think there is a fear that this uncertainty which will be introduced if the constitution is approved. I mean, what happens next? So I think quite a lot of people are having second thoughts, but the result, the outcome is still really quite unclear.
Yeah, and what happens next is exactly what I wanted to ask you. This is being called a do or die referendum. What happens if it fails? Does it go back to the drawing board and try again?
Yeah, pretty well, I think. Yes, there's a lot of debate about what to do next, and the president Boric has said that he's going to introduce reforms, even if it's passed. Because, of course, this draft was drawn up by a convention which was made up of people who aren't in Congress. They're not traditional politicians, most of them, but it's Congress that's going to have to implement it. So Congress has got its own ideas about the reforms that need to be introduced, and the president has said, there are going to have to be clarifications and modifications to the draft which has been presented.
It's not just Chile, of course, that's looking ahead to the results of this referendum. It's other countries in South America. What do you think this means for the region if it passes, or for that matter, if it fails?
Well, yes, I mean, obviously there's a demonstration effect. I mean, Peru, the neighboring country, Peru, there's a big movement there for a new constitution because the existing one is perceived as being rather out of date. And other countries, yes, will be watching with great interest. And of course, this is a left-wing government in Chile, and there are left-wing governments in neighboring countries, in Peru and in Bolivia and in Argentina, and possibly coming up in Brazil. So this might be seen as a general trend in the region.
All right. And again, we'll be looking ahead to that referendum and the results just in a couple of days. Now, Colin Harding joining us from Manchester in the UK. Thank you so much for your time.